Hi, my name is Terry. I'm your boy Terry, and my username across the internet is surpassing Google. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how Steemit has impacted my life. This is a recording. I want to do a video. As along with this video, I'm going to do is a brief post summarizing the video. I want to do a video because I want you to see my thought process. So basically, this is not scripted. This is exactly how I feel, and I'll be thinking on the spot. Basically, I'm going to be covering the topic how Steam has impacted my life, and based on the headline, I say immensely, and that is just the case. So I'm going to start now. I'm digressing a bit. Well, I'm going to start now. I found Steam. I want to create a brief history so that you understand the context of this video. Let's create a scenario of how I found Steam and what was the case before I found Steam. You know, with my use of the internet, with life in general. Okay, so prior to Steam, the internet was something I turned to. I lived in nations that are labeled developing, and uh, dream building is very tough in this place. It's tough everywhere, but now we're leaning towards why I had to turn to the internet. In these physical spaces, you just don't have information. You don't know the next step to take, especially when you're innovative. You have innovative ideas and you want to take the next step to bringing these ideas to reality. For example, when I was younger, that was my line. First I started out writing, then I noticed that it wasn't about my writing, it was more about the innovation in my writing. So I started to think of ideas, look at the world, and look for things that have not been created and try to create these things. So I used to have many ideas then, and some ideas were, uh, where, sorry, I used to have many ideas. Let's say I had 10 to 100 ideas. Now, bringing it to life, there's basically nowhere to turn to. You for information and the next step to take. As a young boy, I'd go to meet a lawyer. There's one old man that has an office in his house, and I'd go there to befriend his lawyer so that he can give me some consultancy. Normally, they take money for these things, but I didn't have money at the time. Then those times I used to be afraid of giving my ideas away. I was still very young, and I'm sorry, I'm a bit disorganized. Okay, I used to think of ways to, uh, you know, sorry, I used to be afraid of giving my ideas away. And then I'm talking to a lawyer and he wants to find out information about the idea, to be clear. Sometimes I didn't know what is required to make an idea your own. I didn't know if someone could replicate your idea. I'm talking of when I was a young boy so that you can get the picture. Then, to go into more depth, the lawyer will say, oh, he needs money. And then I'll hustle and look for a small amount to start the process with. And then at the end of it, I will not get any information. Because on the one side, I'm not willing to open up too much on my idea because of the location I was in. It's very possible that, or those are my fears, and I don't entertain those fears now, but those were my fears when I was a young person. So I couldn't reveal too much of my idea because of fear that someone will replicate it and stuff like that. Then, everything will stall. Then I used to look for rich men as well, go to kings. They'll give me appointments. Before I end up having a solid conversation with a king, it will take 6 months of postponement, and hopes. But I'll keep going. And then at the end, a conversation will ensue. and it will end up the same way. Either I can't reveal too much of an idea, but as time went on, I had an idea that I was able to open up about. Let's say I've gathered like 100 ideas, and I'm now able to reveal one so that I can get information. But when you reveal the idea, uh, then they know, because of the location we're in, they also know, how things work in various places. Basically, I'm just talking of the hustle involved when you are a young boy and you're trying to build a dream, and the reason for turning to the internet. So basically, in the locality I was in, no information. You don't know the next step to take. Then you begin to turn to the internet in search of information related to your location. And the internet was not fully evolved then. Even till date, is not fully evolved in several locations. So you go to the internet and you don't find information related to your location. You find patent information that applies in the United States, for example, but it's definitely not applicable in the places that I was located. Anyway, I began to turn to the internet. Internet came about late, but I began to turn to the internet. On the internet, I resumed writing stuff. I had someone that had a blog at the time. I didn't know anything about blogging and stuff like that. And he would have me help him write articles and on his blog. His blog had some traffic, and so you know, then I went on to creating my first blog. It was two at the time, and again, it was about the idea behind the blog. Same line of action. Think of something that is not in existence at the time. So, and again, at the time, I wasn't very certain on my line, on my purpose, on my niche, and all that. I thought I was more of a writer, but over time, you begin to find yourself. Anyway, I started to turn to the internet. You would blog, and there just was no way to rank or get traffic. I started with Blogspot and stuff like that, and I noticed that location was a factor when it comes to how your content ranks on the search engines. Then I would look to contact someone in USA. At the time, I used to target a US audience. So I'd contact someone in USA, tell the person to help me sign up for a Blogspot account from USA, and then send my article to the person to publish on there, trying to beat the location barrier that the internet had. Prior to that, I tried VPN, but I realized that Google knows of VPN and stuff like that. And I started to figure things out upon using the internet continuously, and there was no laptop or anything. Using the internet was very tough. No budget. I left my parents when I was very young, and I was on the streets, basically. On the streets, I mean, living off the streets. Every day, every meal was, you had to look for it practically. And I used to go to university at the time too. And there was a time when I was young, on the side, I'm talking of side things that I did. My dad would tell me to teach and stuff like that when I wasn't, I was having breaks and I wouldn't teach. I didn't believe in teaching. I believed in, my dad knew of the education path. He wanted me to take first and first overall and stuff like that. And that was of his era. He didn't know too much of the internet and all of that. But I was in a different era. So all those times I was partnering up with a young boy as well. We started to write proposals. We found I'm sorry, his dad had an old Caterpillar that was abandoned. The engine was spoiled. It's like a 1980 type Caterpillar. And our mission became to resurrect that Caterpillar because we found out that They pay big money. They rent those caterpillars on contract and pay big money. We're still very young. Then we started to write proposals and pass it to different people, in a bid to raise a large amount to resurrect, to buy a new engine for the caterpillar, which we eventually did. It was a very big hustle, and because again, the caterpillar was a 1980 caterpillar and it wasn't very strong, so we mounted an engine on it and it started working, but it was always giving problems, always overheating. So I used to be in the forest those times, and I was, you know, I was always on the caterpillar radiator, a very big radiator, and you have like at 50 liters at a time or so will exhaust of water, which you'll get from a stream, and it's very hot on top of the caterpillar. And we're also the engineers of the caterpillar. We had only one elderly man that was with us. All the losing of the caterpillar parts and everything we will do by ourselves because of very limited budget. And whatever money he'll make, he will end up spending it on the caterpillar because of overheating issues. We'll take the caterpillar to new locations and try to excavate the place with trees and all that, and the caterpillar wasn't shaped for that. Now, the caterpillar didn't have tires like the regular ones, so to transport it, you'll have to transport it on top of a trailer. Anyway, so I began to, and I was schooling as well. I was doing part-time. I started out part-time in university. Then I was turning to the internet, in the midst of all that, because, everything was just, I saw the internet as an outlet, even though there was no possibility over the years that I've been on the internet, I still saw it as an outlet. It's a entry into the world, it means to the entire world, the entire globe. Even though there were barriers when it comes to location, which was established at the time, I kept persisting on the internet. And anyway, then I turned to the internet to be able to link up with people from around the world. I knew of the importance of connection, and especially connection. At the time, I was looking for connection mostly in other locations from the West, because I believed in my ideas. I would contact Mark Zuckerberg, any contact I find, and uh, I began to see more of the internet. Facebook will block my account and it would shatter my dream. I'll create a page using it as an outlet, a sandbox to play my dream out into reality or keep my dream alive. And Facebook will come and suspend my channel, my page, and sometimes unretrievable. Sometimes anyway, it would shatter you. So there were just many barriers on the internet to, especially for people in certain locations, and this was established. So I started to look for new stuff, new stuff on the internet, a way. So I tried, social platform after social platform. I knew of the essence of community, of connection, of people, and I was seeking these things out on the internet, and I just wasn't finding it. I started out Twitter too, but it just became obvious that half of the people are bots, half are looking for customers or clients, so there was no way of connecting with anyone. Now, when you try to connect with someone, on a sincere level, you're just someone looking for a new person to relate with and talk with, discuss your projects with, then Facebook will come around and block you. And those things are big. Sometimes it's very big that can lead to you know very big stuff. I don't want to say suicide, or just about the timeliness of these things, when it comes around, when after you have hustled and hustled and hustled, and you feel that you're seeing some light, and then the hammer comes around, you're blocked, or your account is suspended, and then sometimes unretrievable, and there's no real reason for. I mean, you're not this. It's not close to you what the reason is. So, all these things, you start to seek out new things. Then, of course, there was the earning potential that we knew of on the internet, but I was on the internet for maybe some 10 years without ever earning a dime. I tried everything, everything, ClickBank, Blogspot, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, even the ones that are not in English, some Russian sites. Uh, but primarily, I wasn't looking for money. I was looking for people, fellow humans, outside of my location, so that there's a balance in my network. Anyway, so then Steam came about. Steam did not just come about. I was possibilities. And there's something I used to do on the internet. I used to do on App Store when I was younger and stuff like that. I like to try search queries. I like to pop unpopped questions. So even search queries that have been asked, I will search them using AdWords and create mine. So I started to know the internet, knew what search queries have not been asked, know what apps exist, because I'll look at each app on the App Store or Google Play Store. So I started to know the world, the state of the world, what exists on it and what doesn't exist on it, what the world understands about the world, the true state of the world, and all of that. And the internet began to open this up to me, but still very limitedly until I found Steam. Again, I found Steam by trying. Maybe if you saw the list of search queries that I put in the search engine for me to eventually find Steam. Not like I was looking for Steam, but imagine someone who didn't know of blockchain, who didn't know of cryptocurrency or anything about cryptocurrency, finding Steam with search queries. So I definitely didn't type blockchain, but I was typing something, I was on several platforms before Steam. I was on Sue. There I was looking to build a community for the most part. I was on one other platform. Both of those platforms are shut down, but I was on one other platform like that. And once I see these opportunities, it's like breakthrough to me. I'll set up my small community, however small, revolving around my innovation ideas, and want to build on from there. I was okay with my own space, and I was more keen on quality when it comes to followers. So I was more keen on just a few. I was creating illusions, even if it's my own space, a small community, and I was always evolving my dream. So it was about that for me more than I wanted to take my innovation to levels of spanlessness where even if I no longer had to worry about patent or losing it. My projects are all most of them are open source. But that's my evolution over time. When I was younger, I was afraid of those things. And if you look at, I will get to how I found Steam. But if you look at some of my first posts on Steam, I was practically playing with the Steam blockchain. Putting out my ideas and saying that perhaps you can patent these ideas with Steam, on a permanent blockchain that has a large community of people who are incentivized to be reputable and whose activity is also permanent. So I used to joke, I was joking in the publication that even if someone took my ideas, there are like 5,000 witnesses. I mean, if we had to go to any court with 5,000 people as witnesses, then that's powerful enough. Anyway, so I found Steam organically using the search engine. When I found Steam, it was just glorious. Seriously, I'm a bit disoriented in this video, so I couldn't build on the history very well. My grammar is very poor, my coordination and all. But hopefully you'll get the gist. When I found Steam, it was just glorious. Before Steam, I had found some blockchain platforms. I found Scenario, I found Akasha. I tried them and it wasn't what I was looking for. Akasha, first of all, I didn't have a good PC. You have to download the entire blockchain on your PC, and it was just very slow. And I was looking for a ranking in the search engines, and that platform appeared internal, like a social media platform, maybe like Facebook, where there's no possibility that your content really ranks as content in the search engines. So it wasn't what I was looking for. Scenario similar. Then someone contacted me. No, I found yours.org or so. I contacted the owner of yours.org saying that I have insights into, you know, an aspect of the world that he should consider looking into to enhance the yours platform. And then he gave me audience. We had two calls, video calls with his CTO, and he was really interested in the things I had to say. And he wanted me to be part of the design and everything. But yours wasn't it either. Because of all my time on the internet, I knew what was missing from the internet, and I knew what was going to work and what wasn't. And Steam it was when I found Steam. I was lost. I didn't know about cryptocurrency or anything, but I did my first post. And in my very first introduction post, you will see of the life and joy that I had even on my very first introduction post, because I could see that Steam it was. Those barriers that I mentioned that the internet may have had, there was a glimmer of hope that Steam was going to dispel these things. Steemit. I didn't know of Steam at that time. I didn't know Steam was a blockchain. But what I looked at for very fast was the interaction with the community. I was getting comments. I was able to contact someone in the comments and get a response. And then we had all these chat rooms where people, I don't know if they're incentivized, but Steamians are just awesome. But let's say we're incentivized to uphold a certain reputation, to grow, to mine our brain and human. It's proof of brain. So you talk to someone and you get response. There weren't bots, so many bots then, or maybe there were no bots. Then I saw a Discord server with a live stage. And the first question I was trying to find out answers to when I got there was the way Steam um, determines relevance of content. I wanted to see if it was like the search engines where location was a factor. Maybe popularity over the years is a factor and stuff like that. But then I noticed that everyone had an opportunity to rank on the Steemit platform, and that was the case. So that news alone was very big for me and sufficient, really. I didn't know of the blockchain part, but I experienced the love of Steemians. So at first, Steam wasn't just a place, it wasn't about earning for me. I mean, when I found Steam, the first post I found highlighting Steam it was earned thousands of dollars. Then someone earned up to $15,000 on a post on Steam. And I didn't join Steam after seeing that post. I joined Steam some months later, and that's why I came late on Steam. If not, I would have joined Steam at the beginning. So in August, maybe I think Steam started in March or so. In August, when I joined Steam, that was the second time, because the name Steam it stuck in my head. And upon seeing another post, it was an author, I think Stella Bell, and she was ghostwriting, and it was a story that I connected with, and that was what made me join Steam. So it wasn't about money for me. Steam, I saw the beauty of Steam from the outset, because I wasn't seeking money, and I just wanted to build a dream, keep my dreams alive in dream beats. That's what I call it. Have a sandbox where I play and evolve this dream out until it attains reality. And I was also looking for humans, community, connection. And that was what I found in the beginning. People used to like the things I wrote. I wasn't writing for an audience. Even my drafts, I was saving on the Steam blockchain. My ideas, some unreadable stuff. I just wanted to have my space, and I didn't know of flags and all that. I knew of that on other platforms, like where you're blocked and stuff like that. But this is something that was not going to be on Steam, which I realized as well. The decentralized nature of Steam, where everyone has a say on their account, and everyone has the key to their accounts, and no one can remove your content or block it. So these were very beautiful aspects of Steam that I saw. So I started out just saving my drafts on Steam, being that I realized that it's permanent in nature. Then I played with Steam as a patent, in my own fantasy world. Each of my dreams are just, I wanted to get unadulterated feedback when it comes to my ideas. So many times when I write a post containing my idea, it's sort of encrypted. So I'm not very blatant or very upfront with the presentation of the idea. I just, ask for thoughts and all that so that I can get unadulterated feedback. Then I started to create my community. I had the first Discord, and I saw youths on the Steam blockchain that I had interest in. I contacted them. My first Discord server grew very fast to more than 1,000 users, and then I was there helping those youngsters, and all that. So that was it for me, and I started to earn, but not much. Um, but it didn't matter. At the time, I think it was 4 posts you could post in a day, and there was that limitation. So I used to try to maximize the 4 posts in a day at the time, and all that. So that's just a small history. Then over time, I started to see more of the beauty of the Steam blockchain, being that it wasn't just a social media platform. Yes, it was actually a social media platform on a blockchain. So besides Steemit, there is the Steam blockchain, and there was the possibility of building applications on the Steam blockchain. And what more do you want than that? Nothing like this was ever possible on the internet before now. A blockchain with a community incentivized to interact and maintain reputation, and a blockchain that is decentralized in nature that allows you to build an application in relation to your innovation. What more can you want? There's no way in the world where you can get that. Now I started to find developers as well who have interest in building their dreams. I started to evolve my dream using tags. So basically, the tags, I started to create tags and contests and all that. And, people were participating in the evolution of my innovation without knowing, because they were just participating in a simple contest. But the aim was to get unadulterated feedback about my innovation from a random community. Facebook, you don't get stuff like that. You have your friends. There's a likelihood that they will say, "Oh, you're the best. You have the best idea," or just like, on platforms like Steam, a like carries more essence than just a like. Besides the monetary aspect, it carries reputation of someone, you know, and many other things. So it's valuable. It's not just tossed away, So these are there's just so much to talk about that you may just need to pick out from the things I'm saying. I may not be able to cover everything now, but you will just get the gist. especially if you know about Steam. So let me. So basically, Steemit is one of the social media platforms on top of the Steam blockchain, but there are like hundreds of applications building on the Steam blockchain. I have my own as well. And so basically, with one Steam account, you'll be able to access and interact on all these platforms and also earn on them. So imagine your Facebook username, you being able to use that to access, let's say, 100 other applications and have the ability to earn on them. That's the beauty of a Steam account. So if you don't have a Steam account and you're seeing this video, sign up on steemit.com and get your Steam account. If there's delay on your the completion of your sign up, contact me. My email will be underneath this video and I'll help you get your Steam account. Anyway, let's proceed. Anyway, so let's go down into the discussion more. Again, I said that before Steam, there are so many barriers on the internet, especially if you're from certain locations. Now, let me break that down a bit. Many things are not available to most locations. The internet is not the same around the globe. For example, you want to do a Kickstarter, you're hyped up and ready, you have your publication set, you go on Kickstarter, you may end up seeing that your location is not eligible. You want to do a GoFundMe, the same thing, your location is not eligible. PayPal is not available in some locations. So many let's forget remittances. Like, let's say, okay, Facebook, there's some aspects of Facebook that is not available even in the Philippines. Maybe like transfer of money, which is a feature on a normal Facebook that you'll find in USA. You just do transfer on Turk, not available in the Philippines. You want to do there's some Medium has some monetization abilities not available for the Philippines or other locations. There are many locations where these things are not available. So I'm now looking for equality, but maybe a measure of equality, especially for dream builders, trying to build a dream. So when you turn to the internet thinking that it's an inanimate object, it will give you, a level playing field. That was one reason for turning to the internet. You're told to scrum off because you're from a certain IP location. you know even with crypto, the same thing. Like, although I know that it will improve over time, but for example, Coinbase Earn, when you think that the opportunity is open to you, you go there and you're not on the list of eligible countries. you know let's see one other earning opportunity that came about recently. uh, I don't know if it's Stellar or XLM, a cryptocurrency, distributing monthly payments. You go there and you'll find that your location is not eligible, So the internet is not the same globally, and that is one major barrier that Steemit removed. Now, considering that Steem is a blockchain, there's so many outlets to the Steem blockchain, and you can even make yours. So, assuming a certain platform has certain limitations, you can create your own interface and overcome those limitations. Assuming one URL or domain name is blocked, you can access the Steem blockchain using another interface, another domain name. So there's a measure of limitlessness with the Steem blockchain. Now, the Steem blockchain has had ordeals. It has had tough times. One major problem was the scalability possibility of it being on blockchain. It's expensive to maintain uh, platforms that are built on blockchain. But Steem has scaled that hurdle over the years by enhancing, the way they store data. This took a lot of experimentation. That has been settled. witness servers. I have a witness on the Steem blockchain. These are servers that hold the blockchain or the database or content of the Steem blockchain, monitored or run by various people in random locations. I have a witness server. It's called Steam Gigs. I've had it for a long time. It was very expensive to run. In the past, I also contributed a public node, like 256 gigabytes servers to support the Steam ecosystem. It's not something I could. It was so expensive, and I maintained that for months until the requirements to run that rose from 256 to 512, and then the expense for that was around $1,000 a month. I think before that I was paying maybe $600 a month. I can't remember. And then I had to turn that RPC node off. Now I have a witness Steam Gigs, which over the years it has managed to climb the ranks, but for maybe 6 months, many months, I wasn't able to pay the. I was paying out of my own extra, so it was expensive. For months I was paying, let's say, more than maybe close to 110 or $120 a month, and that is way beyond the rewards that I get for the server. Now that has reduced because more recently, the Steam blockchain enhanced how they store data to where witnesses can now use smaller servers. So I was able to downgrade to a $50 server a month more recently. Now, my point is that the sustainability of the blockchain relies on these servers staying in existence. And in the past, it used to be very expensive to run the servers, but now it's very cheap, way cheaper than it used to be. So let's now establish that the Steam blockchain is scalable. Even if it gets hundreds of thousands of users, it can manage. So that was one of the ordeals that the Steam blockchain has had, which has been surmounted. Now, what other aspect was missing? Communities. The classification of content so that it's searchable has now been solved with communities. Steam now has a community feature where you can create your own community. You can also tokenize these communities because an SMT feature is coming about very soon that enables you to create tokens for your communities. So that is those barriers. Now we're talking barriers. Steam is just attaining limitlessness, really. So before now, let's talk of dream building. You will need to build an entire application or decentralized application on the Steam blockchain to bring your dream to life. Now you can do so even with just a community. Right on steemit.com, you create a community, then add a token that is your own, along with the Steam token to power your community. It's now possible. If you're a dream builder, you have innovation ideas, you can now do so without any technical know-how, just courtesy of having a Steam account. These are things that you cannot buy anywhere. It's not possible to accomplish anywhere. If you are talking about building a website, a startup, people need to raise hundreds of dollars to build their startups. I have startups on the Steam blockchain, and I built them, although it's been a struggle, but there have been some success rate because I have steamgigs.org, a freelancing platform for everyone, ulogs.org, a content creation platform for everyone, MacroHard is not yet built, but I have Marlians.com. Marlians.com is a Steem tribe which is on the Steem blockchain. Now, I'm not a programmer, so I've had, difficulties progressing, but the three of those projects I mentioned are already in existence and in alpha stage of development and on the Steem blockchain. Now, these are social media platforms built around some of my innovation ideas that I've gathered over the years, and I've not been able to build by any means over the years prior to finding Steem. These dreams are now visible to me, and the entire model for each dream has been built courtesy of the beautiful Steem community and the power of the Steem blockchain, and they are now attaining reality. So I say dreams are equal or to reality now, courtesy of the Steem blockchain. Now, that aside, there's so many other things that the Steem blockchain did to impact my life. One of the major things, like I mentioned, that makes up a very, major aspect of my life is my dreams. I've had them for so long. I care about the world, you know, and these things are attaining reality more than could ever have been possible prior to Steem. So that is a very major impact to my life. Now, there are many other things. Steem constituted CCTV into the truest state of the world. People are incentivized on Steem because it has a proof of brain model where they have to exert of their brain, of their human capacity, their virtues constantly. Uh, you know, secondarily, because of the incentive to earn. But there are other incentives too, like maintaining reputation, connecting with others, building dreams, and all that. But a place that rendezvous you to carry out this action incessantly is a very powerful place. So many spirits, so much reaction to stimuli, and that is the true state of the world. That's all Google and Facebook does. They mine these things. You use their platform, and Facebook knows you're checking. They know, so they mine your content, and you use Facebook in the comfort of your homes without cognizance of your surroundings. Or so that's your real you that you emit in the cookies of your browser, and they take this information and process it, and they make billions in revenue. The Steem blockchain allows you to take ownership of this mine. But that was one of the things that helped me, impact me too much, because Steem constituted the CCTV into the true state of the world. I began to see humans in their day-to-day evolution, see humans react to stimuli constantly, and this fascinates me. Among early creation, I'm particularly interested in fellow humans. So I used to curate content, so much spread when it comes to curation that I got to know the Steem community, many people, down to their inner self. And this helps me see the true state of the world, what's missing, and help me further evolve my innovation ideas, the startups I mentioned, so that I can cater to these aspects. The username surpassing Google just refers to removing all barriers to entry from everything good, so that everything good becomes available to anyone. So I was able to further evolve the model for my projects so that it becomes solid and caters to further removing barriers to entry from different aspects of human life. So that's another impact. Third impact is, defining and redefining the enterprise model for each of my projects. It's established now. It took so much time, so much study, so much experiment, so much love for Steemians and for Steem, and so much activity on my part to establish the enterprise model for each of my projects, which is very essential. I believe in building the dream first, two levels of spamlessness before bringing it to reality. So that's all I did. Right now, this is the most hassle moment of my life. 2019 was, you know, but one thing is for sure, all the enterprise model for my project is set in stone. It's, it's now deeply rooted, and this is courtesy of Steem. Another thing, Steam helps me with my view of money. It helped me see that what's missing in the world is just value is placed on every other thing, mostly inanimate things, superficial things, and removed from humans. So it helped me see that all that's needed is returning value to humans, money becoming the smaller things. And that's what things Steam helped me see. I was on Steam and I didn't have a dime. I was alone past Google, depressed, alone, practically alone. My internet went bad. Well, I'll round up now. Please bear with me. The condition of the video may not be perfect, but that's what it is about. I'm not here to show you something fancy. I'm just here to show you the real. And sometimes it's not about fancy gadgets. It's good to pay attention to fellow humans, however rough. So that's your investment if you're listening to this video, because I'll do the same on your behalf. So money became the smaller thing since Steam. I didn't have a dime on Steam, no dime. I won't go into much details about that, but I spent the first 2 years on Steam without a power down. Most of my Steam was powered up. Powered up means that instead of spending or using your Steam, you vest it so that you have more influence on the visibility of content on the Steam platform. So I used to, Steam represented more than money. I saw what money is. Money just being paper, and being open to digital currency helped me see this. Steam was just virtual currency, basically giving value from the start by its users. And that's what paper is, or money, legal tender. But in the world of today, begins to be money becomes the chase. Humans have their value relegated, even to fellow humans. There is now competition, strife among humans to chase paper. Steam helped me learn, about money. For the first 2 years, I didn't touch, I didn't withdraw. I can't remember. I didn't power down. Let me see, I didn't power down. I think I did withdraw from Steam for maybe 8 months. I'm not very sure. I saw the wallet as something beyond, I saw it as an entire bank, with Chase paper, but you have an entire bank available to you courtesy of Steam. It doesn't happen anywhere. So even if it's an illusion, it's a valid illusion that I created, and I saw that as my bank. And you have a bank right there in your wallet. Audits is possible on the Steam blockchain. The blockchain is permanent. There are witnesses on the Steam blockchain. People using can verify your transactions and all that. You can send transactions within 3 seconds. That's a bank. So these were the beautiful things I saw of Steam, and money was the smaller things. It was more possible to donate on Steam. I saw people donating, giving, not donating, like giving out Steam to someone. I wasn't into, there's something I'd never do in the past, which was, do like asking money or financial help. That's something that I had to learn. Even when my mom was dying, people were asking me they should do fundraisers on my behalf. I wasn't doing it, because I wanted to do something. Not that I'm against it, but I saw beauty in humans. I felt that it's possible to, where you have 10 solid brothers, that you can turn to without reservations and all that, then this may abate the need for going out in public to a large audience and seeking financial help. I also was about building my dreams, creating something that will really impact Steam and the world, before gaining some confidence to ask help. Even my witness server, when I did my witness, it was just very difficult for me to ask a witness vote, apart from my post, like to go to someone and constantly ask them for a witness vote. I wanted to be able to give something in return. That's how I am. Like, even if I'm in rubble, my arm is outstretched. I'm outstretching my arm so that you take it, not only so that you take it, but so I can give you a hand in return. So I wanted to build and build, and there was so much hassle, and it was all slow. So it was until I started, I was after Steam Gigs. Steam Gigs is an old, the current Steam Gigs is the sixth one. It started, failed, and kept on like that. So that's something I learned. Money became the smaller thing. Money giving became easier, because you start to know that it's just a digital currency after all, and and its value is dictated by fellow humans. So it was possible to give to others more easily, not only via by vote but by transfer. It was possible, and people were giving to me and to others as well, which just came on its place as the smaller things. People don't give out fiat currency like that, or paper currency like that. So that's another thing that came about courtesy of Steam. Even if I and giving in new ways, besides money. Once you establish that money become the smaller things, you try other means of giving. So rights to give, in a bid to give. I'll answer questions in a bid to give. I used to do 10 hours talk on Discord. I have a Discord that was more than 5,000 users, and I used to give 10 hours of talk on Discord. And I'm telling you, talks in the midst of pain and illness, 24/7 pain, inability to relax, not a human, not a human. So I used to do that, and I used to think of people, think of what I can do. Anytime you see me with a new contest, I'm down. I'm entirely down, but I'm there thinking of how to make it easier for people. I used to do contests in the past with 1,000 entries, post entries. The contest will have 1,000 comments. Newly, like when I started on Talented, I was just thinking of fellow people, and there are barriers to entry when it comes to content creation, content curation. And then I started the Untalented contest. When ULOGS was created, it was done courtesy of, seeing Steemians, their evolution, their struggles, and looking for solutions. So ULOGS came about, removing barriers to entry from content creation and content curation, enabling anyone to be able to create content. And that was how ULOGS came about. Dream building was when I thought of Steam Gigs. I see many people trying to build a dream, especially those that are not programmers and struggling, because I struggled a lot, not having budget. So I started to see value in other things beside money, value in connection, value in fellow humans, value in exerting myself on behalf of others, and all that. This is real impact. I evolved in my own capacity as a human as well, my own abilities. I began to exert my human virtues more. For example, when there is someone accosts me with a comment to, pummel me or something like that, for example, I try other forms of reaction, like taking the high road, or creating something, looking for testimonial, exerting my human virtues like forgiveness, long suffering, all that, creating solutions, finding testimonial use for good. These are some of the powerful impact of Steam. Then the community was very beautiful. You won't find it anywhere. Steamians are different. They are in a state of evolution, and they turn out to be special. You'll feel this when you go to any Steam event. They really love, they really care, and that was just a beauty. Before Steam, you will not find it anywhere. Now, there are other platforms that came about after Steam, trying to replicate Steam. Some of these platforms contacted me even to join at their inception, to help them shape it up. Some on EOS, some on wheelchairs, but I didn't go. Especially at the outset, I didn't go because I had many followers, and I think of my followers. I don't want to sway their or influence their decision making. For example, when they see my username on those platforms and they say, "Oh, Terry is advocating for this platform," and stuff like that. But besides, I didn't see value in going there because some of these platforms had the mindset that Steam was flawed, and I don't believe that there's a flawless blockchain as long as it will be used by humans who are flawed. So I just saw that it will just be a replay as long as it's the same humans transitioning. Only if we humans evolved to where we can allow room for flaws, live in peace and harmony in the midst of flaws, will, will it be better? So I didn't really join, but later on, my finances became terrible. After my mom died, my dad is ill and with me. I had to power down and everything just, and my health as well. So, all my projects began to stall. But the beautiful thing is that the enterprise model for all my projects is established, and it's open source. All my issues are already on GitHub, all the algorithms, it's all written there, all my tasks, so that's the least I could do. So these are just some of the beautiful aspects of Steam. It's not just a content creation platform, and it's beyond that. As a content creation platform, you have the ability to rank. People contact me in my email till date asking, because I have marlians.com, I have ulogs.org, and they see the owner contact on Google, and then they contact me because they saw an article that has ranked, and they're asking to put their link on that article, thinking I'm the owner of the article, not knowing that for that to happen, I'll have to contact whoever wrote that article, and then have them see if they want to insert the link. But in my email, I have so many emails like that. People contacting me, they are from certain company. They saw a write-up about their company and its ranking, and they want to insert redirect link to their platform. This is all courtesy of Steam. So the luxury that Steam offers is just too much. And if you are someone who is building a dream, and especially in locations that don't have an evolved internet, Steam remove all those barriers to entry. Just come around, get your Steam account, start with a community, focus on yourself as your primary audience, play out your dream in every post, get unadulterated feedback from the community, and evolve the dream. When you're set, set up your community, add a token to it, and start there. This will help you attract exact like minds, in the form of developers, venture capitalists, and all that. And then you can go on to building a DApp. Many things are possible now. Steam has a proposal system too. If you have a good idea, feel free to get a Steam account, come around, write a proposal, and tell the community why they should fund your proposal. There's a pool designated to proposals that will enhance the Steam blockchain. So if you are building the Steam blockchain, enhancing it, you are adjusting the world. Steam is just a beautiful thing. So feel free to write a proposal, build it around Steam growth, and then implore the community to support your proposal, and then you can get budget to build it. But more so than budget, I say that if I have 10,000, even 100 brothers and sisters, we will move and displace Mount Everest by 10 kilometers at 10 kilometers an hour. So these are just some of the, I don't know if I touched on all the points. There are so many things I can talk about when it comes to the impact of Steam on my life. Uh, you and the future is bright. There are possibilities. Uh, it's no coincidence that we all found Steam, those who are on Steam, and we're able to interact. Not everybody has that luxury of finding even the term blockchain or cryptocurrency, and it's just luxury. So, if you found Steam, tell others about Steam. It's just a beautiful thing. And see Steam as, yeah, something that Steam impacted me too is ownership. I saw that was how I felt like when I got on Steam. My stake represented ownership. My dream had more value, my innovation, my ideas had more value than was the case before I found Steam. And that's very powerful in terms of breaking the cycles of, you know, like hand to mouthism that is, rampant in the world today, and ownership mentality. And that's something that is adaptable if you're on Steam. Even if you have a small community with 10 followers, you're an owner. You have a small stake of 1,000 Steam, you're an owner. You know, so that's something that evolved on me, courtesy of finding Steam, and has impacted my life. What more? Yes, what more? I did my most learning on Steam. Transition to becoming a witness, transition to knowing some coding. I imagine creating macro hard, an enterprise that will create a programming language that everyone can code in, and I cannot code. These are some of the things I've written colorless paper, something like white paper containing token economy and all that, all courtesy of Steam. And I started out as you know, a stark novice, when it comes to the internet. Even till date, I don't know how to use Photoshop, Paint. Those are not my line. You know, those aren't my field, or my inclination isn't towards those things. But I did transition, and it's possible for you as well. I met many developers, met many people, learned how to relate with people, learned how to appeal to the soft spot of fellow humans, and even without money, just courtesy of your human. So, like I said, money constituted the smaller things. I had a delegation before. When I lost the delegation, I didn't seek the delegation back, even though it was very tough. So tough for me, because I wanted to try and push, be part of the histories and stories involved in the evolution of my enterprises, Ulogs, Team Gigs. And at the time the delegation existed, I had only Steam Gigs, but after that, I got Ulogs, Macro Hard, Marlians on very small budget. And this had to do with trying to appeal to the soft spot of fellow humans, trying to appeal to the brother in them, and combining. And I would pay for the task with my small budget, but money wasn't the primary thing. Some people helped me to code. I did pay most of but it wasn't the entire basis of our relationship, so that these relationships can be long term. So what I would do is I would write my tasks out on GitHub and put a Steam price. And when I started to have Marlian's token, I also began to add Marlian's token with Steam. Now it wasn't a solid payment, but we still were able to push and push and push, and Marlians and all that came into existence. Uh, Anyway, more recently, because of health, other than health issues, I will still be pushing, pushing for Steam. Like, These days, I'm still pushing for Steam, but not as effectively. But I have platforms that have the potential. Marlians.com is a tribe that is still in use, and I'm hoping that it manages to put a small smile on some Steam users and help them love Steam even more. Uh, so let me stop here. If you're seeing this video, I have a witness Steam gigs. You know, please support my witness. That's all I can ask for in this video. It represents everyone has something to offer, and it supports the platform steamgeeks.org and everything I do. It represents my Steam journey more so than just being a witness server. And it was created at a time when my mom was dying, and it has that much grand significance to me. So please support my witness. It's called Steam Gigs. This video may not be awesome looking because my internet was terrible several times uh, um, during the video. It was showing unstable connection. I just hope the video comes out manageable. I'll write a small transcription to this post underneath to enable you follow through. I'm your boy Terry.